Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I have something new to share with you from Simon Hurley Create. And I was super excited when Simon asked me to help join showing these products, and of course I said yes. And they are 6 new colors of solar paste. You heard me correctly, not lunar paste, solar paste. So the first one is called Cross My Heart. The next one is called Overheated. This one is called Golden Hour. This one is called Crocodile Tears, Beluga, and Royal Flush. So these are in the same 2-ounce jars that the Lunar Paste are in, but you'll notice I have the lids off all of them, and they all just kind of look pearlescent, right? So this is where the magic comes in. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can use these. You can use these all in the exact same way that you use the Lunar Paste. The difference is these have a color shifting pearlescent effect. So let me show you what they are. And they kind of solar paste, right? They bring the light. Okay, so I'm just going to use the lid here, and I'm going to grab a little bit, and I'm just using a paintbrush and a little bit of water on my paintbrush. But yes, you can paint with these, and you can see how that's just a very subtle kind of cream color, but watch this. And I'm going to go through each of these, and you'll see as it dries, and these dry very quickly. You can apply them with a brush. You can apply them with a palette knife. That was Cross My Heart. This one is Overheated. And this is great because you can get a textured look, very tone on tone if you do it on white paper. It's just kind of subtle in the background until the light hits it. It is going to dry super shiny. It does have some texture to it, depending on how thick or thin. Yes, you can foil over it if you want to foil over it. All the same properties you have in Lunar Paste. The difference is the colors. That was Golden Hour. This one is Crocodile Tears. So, you know, wedding season is among us. And a lot of you want to use some texture paste or clear paste, but you don't want a lot of color to it. This is the perfect product to use over white or cream colored cardstock. This is Beluga. Are you guys seeing what's happening here once I put it down on the black cardstock? You're getting the colors shifting on the black, and that's what's really cool about this. And again, I'm just using a little paintbrush off the lid. And this is the last one, which is called Royal Flush. So not a huge color impact. I'll bring it up to the camera on the white. But wow, on that black. So here you can see some of the color. There it is when the light hits it. Excuse me. Again, you have Cross My Heart, which is kind of a pinkish red. Overheated, and they're kind of pastel colors. Golden Hour, Crocodile Tears, Beluga, and Royal Flush. So on the white, if you look at it straight on, it just looks white. But as soon as the light hits it, look at that color shift. Isn't that cool? It's almost like an optical illusion, right? But really where the magic is look at it here. A lot of you guys have been looking for kind of color shift watercolors. Well, this is an all-in-one product, so you can use it as a watercolor. You can paint it on the way I did. It's a little thicker. We're going to show how you can use it through a stencil, how you can use it on an embossing folder. So many different things you can do, and like I said, it dries very quickly. The thinner your coat is, the faster it's going to dry. The thicker your coat is, a little longer you're going to need to dry it. And again, if you wanted to, you could even foil over this, right? So here I have stamped out the Peel Apart Candles background stamp. And so again, if I just wanted to do a really subtle background here, I can just go in and paint over this. You can see how it's kind of translucent. You see it, but you don't really see it. So this will not take away from my background. I'm just going to add some color here. And you can see how easy it is to apply with a brush. And I haven't even added a lot of water. You don't need to add water. It just depends on the consistency you want. If you want it straight like that, you can use it. It's nice and thick. If you want it a little looser consistency like watercolor, then you just add a little bit more liquid and water it down. And I'm not being super neat here because it is a translucent kind of pearl finish, so you're really not going to see if I mess it up. But the stamped image comes right through. Just going to do each kind of candle in a couple different colors here. And I'm just pulling off the lid. I haven't even dipped into the jar yet. You can layer these. You can tint them with, excuse me, reinkers. Number of possibilities here with these. You know, somewhere around here I have a black light flashlight. I bet these look really cool under that. All right, so you can see as it dries, some of the color starts to come through. As the light hits it, you can see the color starting to come through, right? Okay, so that looks really cool. Again, straight on, it just looks white. But as it dries and you start to hit the light on there, you can start to see the different shades of the colors come through. And they're super shiny, very pretty, okay? So again, you can paint it on with a brush. I have also here an embossing folder. So this is just a 3D embossing folder. And again, this is where it's really going to be cool. You can use a brush. I'm just going to use my finger for this one. And you're just going to go in and just lightly rub over that embossing folder. And look at that magic, you guys. Very easy to clean up. Just going to use my wet paper towel here and dab it off my finger. But it's so fun and magical because it's got that color shift property, because it's one color on one color paper and then it totally changes its color on a different color paper. I think Solar Paste is the perfect name for it. And it's already starting to dry, just a thin coat. Look at that. How wonderful is that? And a variety of different colors here. Again, you have 6 different colors to play with. Look at that. So pretty. And if you're someone that doesn't like to get your fingers dirty, again, bring in the paintbrush. And this is not a super heavy product either. So, you know, you can do a very light application, and you can use this just on regular cardstock. You don't really need any kind of specialty cardstock. As long as you're not making it too wet. It dries so quick, you really don't have to worry too much about the paper peeling or warping, because once it hits that surface, it starts to dry. So the thinner your coat, the better results you're going to get. Now let's try mixing. We have a nice kind of green here with that crocodile tears, but I wonder if we can make our own. Let's try mixing a little bit. So I'm going to grab, just have my nonstick thing here. I'm going to grab a little bit of this beluga, which is kind of a blue, and golden hour, which is golden. And let's mix it and see what we get here. Now that's leaning more towards the blue, so we're going to give that a moment to set, and we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to add a little bit more of that blue. So there's basically color shifting micas in here. And so when they dry super shiny. Okay. It's almost like a magic coloring book, because it just looks like paste, and then you put that color down and it just pops off the page. Think of all the different embossing folders you have, how much fun you could have with this. Now, of course, you don't have to make it different colors. You can go and just do everything in one color if you wanted to. The thicker you put it, the more that color shines and pops through. The thinner, the more translucent it is. And I like the embossing folders because you still have that black shining through, because it doesn't get into all the nooks and crannies with the embossing folder, because that design is embossed. It's pressed into the paper, so it sits on the top layers. That is so cool. Very, very cool. Very pretty. Let's just finish this up. And a little bit goes a long way. Believe me, I have Lunar Paste. I have not gone through a lot of those jars are still the original jars. They last a very long time, because a little bit, you can see I'm just using the lids here, you guys. A little bit travels a long way with this product. And there you can see I have a little more water, so it's not as vibrant. It's a little more watered down, like a watercolor, not so in your face. So all depends on how you want to show your art. It almost looks kind of like, with the black, almost like a neon sign, right? Here I can kind of mix some colors. All right, so that looks pretty good for that panel. A little bit more green in here. And that is pretty much almost dry. How gorgeous is that? So pretty. And look at the shine. That's not going to go away. So, again, you get one look on white color cardstock. You get a different look on darker color cardstock. Here you can see it again. You can apply it with your fingers. You can apply it with a paintbrush. Now you can see here, this is not completely dry. It still has white in it, but the rest of these are dry. So very, very easy to do. And once it's set, it's set. You don't have to set anything on there. They're going to stay in place. Here's that one I just painted in. Now you can see that it's dry, how much those colors really pop off the page. And then here I just did a sample. I used the bottom of the candles. This is still drying, but you can see as it's drying, the colors are popping through, right? So we have the Cross My Heart, which is kind of a pinky, and then Overheated is the orange, Golden Hour is the yellow, Crocodile Tears is kind of the green, Beluga is the blue, and then Royal Flush. And you can see how some of them are layered together, but this will look really cool once it's fully dry on there. So I'm so glad. Thank you again, Simon, for sending this to me. A lot more things you guys can do with this. That was just a quick introduction to the brand new Solar Paste from Simon Hurley. Create 6 colors. I will put the links down below for you guys. You can get them from Ranger. You can get them from scrapbook.com. If you guys can do me a favor and just go down in the description and please click those links so I can get credit for showing them to you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Is this something that's going to be really cool for you to add to your darker color paper? I'm actually thinking about like Halloween when we do like the moon and we color in some scenes. It'll be pretty cool to have a black scene and then color in. And again, look at how super shiny that is. And once it's on, it's on. It's not coming off, right? So this is the finger that I used to apply the paste, but this finger, once that paste is on, it's not flaking off. It's not a glitter. It is a color shifting mica where the color that you see on white may not necessarily be the same color that you see on dark. And again, you can mix and match your colors. You can add reinker to this. Very subtle. And I'm thinking again on white cardstock, like how pretty is this going to be on white cardstock? Let me see if I can grab that same embossing folder and a little piece of white. And just to show how subtle that look is going to be on white cardstock. Do I have a piece of extra white cardstock? Of course I do, somewhere. Here we go. So I always spritz before I put it through a 3D embossing folder. And I'll do this one all in one color so you guys can see it. Let me move these guys out of the way. So we're going to use Platform A, our 3D embossing folder, and adapter plate D in the Spellbinders Platinum system. This is a Spellbinders 3D embossing folder. going to see what difference this is going to make using it with white paper and the solar paste. So, let's just bring my little non-stick mat in here. Never mind how dirty it is, you guys. It's very old. All right, so let's do... I'm going to do this Cross My Heart. Same thing, I'm just going to grab it off the lid. You could also use a dauber tool, a sponge daubing tool. I'm just going to go over the raised edge. I just put a little bit on my mat. I'm going to go over the raised edges here. This is super forgiving. You do not have to be perfect with this since you're doing it on a light color. No one's gonna really notice that you kind of go outside the lines. The raised areas are gonna be popping. They're gonna look really cool. And the lower areas are just gonna be white. I just keep thinking wedding cards with this. Like, this is going to be so cool. Or just subtle cards. Maybe you're just making a birthday card and you don't want it to be, like, in your face, bright. You know, you just want it to be subtle. Maybe just making a nice set of note cards or thank you cards. And like I said, you guys will see that this dries super quick. I mean, within a matter of moments. This is not something you have to put aside and wait for it to dry overnight. No, you do not. But it's going to look like you used pearlescent paper when you didn't. You just used regular white paper. We all know that paper is expensive. And when you use the specialty cardstock, it's even more expensive. You can even die cut over this, right? So you want to make this like really cool die cut. You take some of this. You smear it over your cardstock where you want to die cut it, right? We give that a couple minutes to dry. And then we die cut it, and we're going to have that effect in the die cut. So don't stop with just one or two applications here. There's so many different things we can do with this. And it's very easy cleanup as well. Just a little spray of water. It's not going to stick to your fingers and not come off. It's very easy to clean up. You take your stencils up, rinse them up under some soap and water. You can see it came right off the mat there. It'll come right off my hands. But look at the difference between... Again, that subtle effect of using it on white cardstock. Oh, it just looks really pretty. It looks like pearlescent cardstock. And then, ba-bam! You hit the light to it and it just shimmers. And it has that touch of kind of pinky peach in there. Very pretty. Or you want to do in your face color? Well, hey, you can do that too. So, really cool. Love that you can use it either way instead of always in your face. I think this has a lot more applications that we can try out. Again, you can use it through stencils with your little palette knife. You can paint it. You can color over images with it. It's very translucent. Or you can use it over embossing folder. So let me know what you think down below. Do you like it better on the black or the white? Is this something that you can see in your stash? Again, please click the description so you can see the links to get everything. And give this video a thumbs up before you leave and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.